Now, let me tell you the statistics of insecurity since this year. More than 1,000 persons have been killed from January. In Kaduna State alone, from February 10, more than 270 persons have been killed. About 137 terrorist attacks have taken place in 34 states. 34 states out of 36 within 4 weeks. This government is a joke. The primary duty of government is the security and welfare of the people. And any government that fails in that has failed in all, because you need to be alive before you enjoy fundamental human rights. You need to be alive before you enjoy infrastructure. And you know what? This government has been the most borrowed government in the history of Nigeria. What are they doing with the money? So APC now, knowing that ADC has come to stay, they want to use every means, including intimidating INEC. I can tell you that George Omipota has been threatened that if he doesn't deregister ADC, he should resign.
Is this rumor or you have evidence to this?
They wrote the first letter, 16th March.
Welcome to Naija Unfiltered on SYMFONI TV. I am Olawale Oluwade. Our guest today is veteran actor, barrister, politician, Kenneth Okonkwo. Is a member of the African Democratic Congress, a member of the newly composed National Working Committee, an ex-official member of the NWC. Barrister Kenneth, you're welcome to Naija Unfiltered.
Thank you very much, and thank you viewers from any part of the world you're watching.
Nice to have you. Let's get right into it without further ado. Palm Sunday, last Sunday, incidentally, another round of killings, heinous, senseless killings in Angwa, Rukuba, just north local government area of Plateau State. Some accounts say, official accounts are about 20 or thereabouts, figures now, is upwards of 40. BBC has reported this, New York Times have reported this. The president has made some comments, the usual lines of, we'll get the perpetrators arrested and all of that. Barrister Kenneth, what is going on?
What is going on is that Nigeria is in peril because there is a president who, not just that he is not ensuring the security and welfare of Nigerians, he is incapable of doing it. I said it from the one this president came in, that he has a lot of incapacities. I mean, let us not forget that we entered this race by having a president that was a member of the town hall, different from Baba Blue. So a man that has already become incoherent, both physically and cognitively, is a man that was sure to be a security risk himself. So there is no way such a man can take care of the complex security position of Nigeria. We have a lot of ungoverned spaces because we don't have enough boots on the ground. This president that has more than 2/3 members of the National Assembly being members of his party. This president that has more than 30-something governors being members of his party cannot amend the constitution immediately to ensure state police. When he was the governor, he was talking about state police. When Fashola became governor, he was talking about state police. The whole Southwest, their anthem was state police, restructuring. This president now came in and he has done none of that. And whatever he wanted in the National Assembly, including if he wants to sell Nigeria for $6 billion, they will approve for him within 3.5 hours. But yet, what will secure Nigerian lives and property, they will not do. Without state police, unfortunately, people will still die more. I told you that insecurity is calculated on daily basis in Tinubu's regime. When I said it, people thought I was joking. Palm Sunday, on a sacred feast of the Christians, people who are getting ready to observe it, Plateau State is made up of Christians. So when we talk about genocide against Christians, what else are we talking about? They are targeted. On their feast day, innocent people that did nothing. I'm sure the deaths The death roll must be up to 50 now. Because if the government will be acknowledging 30, 40, you know what it means. It was a massacre. Now, let me tell you the statistics of insecurity since this year. More than 1,000 persons have been killed from January. In Kaduna State alone, from February 10, more than 270 persons have been killed. About 137 terrorist attacks have taken place in 34 states. 34 states out of 36 within 4 weeks. This government is a joke. The primary duty of government is the security and welfare of the people. And any government that fails in that has failed in all. Because you need to be alive before you enjoy fundamental human rights. You need to be alive before you enjoy infrastructure. And you know what? This government has been the most borrowed government in the history of Nigeria. What are they doing with the money? If they cannot do the primary responsibility, buying presidential yacht, spending 21 billion naira to build vice president's office, buying presidential jet, their children going on army of escorts, army that Wole Soyinka said it was not sitting to him. Wole Soyinka described the escort of Tinubu's children as being enough to stop queue in a foreign land, and people are being massacred. And this same president says he is withdrawing security operatives from VIPs, but yet multiplied the ones for himself and his household. So I'm sorry, I can't give you any hope, because this is a government of hopelessness. This thing will happen again, because this government does not want to do the right thing. They don't want to put more boots on the ground. They don't want to support state police. Forget all those things. Tinubu, first of all, he arranged a meeting of all the governors. All the governors say we want state police. No, he didn't go ahead. He's appointing IGP now, set up a committee. After that one, they will appoint another committee to sit on what the committee said. Politics. This government is even playing politics with the lives of Nigerians. Do you think that this government, if he wants any amendment, would seek anybody's consultation? When he was passing the tax laws, his vice president had a meeting in the Council of State, and they told him, please wait to consult more. He said, there's no need. It's a National Assembly. Go ahead. Anybody who wants to consult can go to National Assembly. But now in the issue of state police, he will consult Oluwaseun. He will consult Kenneth Okonkwo. He will consult Sani Muazusheri. He will consult both known names and unknown names. Why? Because he does not want state police. Because they want to use the federal police to intimidate and to manipulate Nigerians. And I'm sorry that they're even using judiciary now. Why am I saying that? They were the ones who told us that it was the order of courts that puts El-Rufai in jail. Yet when the mother died, without an order of court, they released him. What does that tell you? That it's not the court that is keeping him. They are using the instrumentality of judiciary to keep Nigerians illegally in detention. Everybody should be careful, because we've had enough.
Barrister, those are very powerful opening remarks. Let's dig deeper. Like I said, the president issued the regular, or the usual directives to the service chiefs. Oh, go after the perpetrators. He even said, nobody should give it religious coloration or ethnic connotations, that this is purely criminal acts and that the perpetrators should be fished out, and so on and so on. The question, Barrister, is that when does the president admit failure, that, the state has failed, and request for help from wherever possible? What do you say to this?
No amount of help can help Tinubu as commander-in-chief.
You think so?
Yes, no amount of help. Americans came in. He pointed to the Americans where they will bomb, just to assuage the feeling of American president. How do you help a president who, when there is massacre in his own country, he is abroad, riding and treading on red carpet?
Horse-drawn carriages.
How do you help such a president? No, he's unhelpable. The only thing you do to such a person is to remove him through democratic means. Remove him completely. No, how do you help a president? Donald Trump, for instance, canceled his trip to China Donald Trump, when they killed American servicemen, the first 6 that came home, he went to take salute to receive them. Tinubu, people are dying in 50s, in hundreds every day, but he is busy riding on red carpet in the UK, and he will soon fly out again. He's the most traveled president. As at the last count, he has spent almost 40 billion naira on visits abroad. And after, when he goes abroad, he will bring more gbese on us in the name of business agreements. You heard when he went to London, he came back with 756 billion pounds gbese, million pounds gbese on Nigerians. Because the British will come to build a built seaport. Why don't you go to the east to build new ones? They are coming to repair. And you still pay them that money. And you will still say you're owing them. I don't understand. How did we get here? Nigerians should know that we are in a deep mess under Tinubu. Now we are gradually going to become one of the most indebted nations. We are the 4th most terrorized nation on earth. Only equated to what war-torn people are suffering. And yet, you can't help a man that is incapable of helping himself. You help a man who is willing and needs a push. This president is unwilling because he likes the status quo to use it to intimidate and manipulate the opponent. So, how can you help him? Tinubu is unhelpable. So the best thing is let him go.
Like you said, through democratic means.
Of course, yes.
Absolutely.
Of course. That is why they don't. He's even trying to make it impossible to go through democratic means. Can't you see what is happening? PDP, a once ruling party, is singing on your mandate we stand. So even using democratic means, APC is still fighting against it. Can't you see the Electoral Act? Mike Igini says it's the worst Electoral Act in history. Electoral Act 2026, where you're now telling political parties the mode that they must use. You're compelling them. Where you're giving them less than 1 month to submit digital register. And the particulars of the people that will be used in the digital register was given 1 month notice. Internationally recognized standard is at least 6 months. Have you seen in any part of the world that they made a law and within 72 hours they used it to conduct election? That was what did with the FCT elections. So they're even trying to ensure that you don't use democratic means to remove them in power. And I warn them, because those that make peaceful change impossible makes violent change inevitable. So if you make it impossible for Nigerians to speak democratically, then you're making it inevitable for them to speak undemocratically. You know what they said? A philosopher said, if elites do not write justice on black and white, ignorant men will write it on the ground with. We have to be very careful. I'm a Democrat, true, because I'm a lawyer. Because I know that anarchy brings no good for any country. But it is anarchous in itself for a government to be lawless. And they say birds of the same feather fly together. A government that is anarchous, good, becomes compatible to a failed state that will be anarchous, because you now need to be a man of anarchy to be able to confront a government of anarchy.
That's scary. I hope we never.
Very scary.
I hope we never get to that.
No, but
point.
you just asked me, at what point would this president admit that he has failed?
Absolutely.
That is it. He has failed. And if he does not want to be removed democratically after having failed, people already know they will die if they are under him. So they will not have any fear to confront him by any means. People are dying every day. It's not written on the mountains. Our soldiers are dying every day. Our officers in the army are dying every day.
Soldiers, officers, high-level officers,
generals are being massacred.
Absolutely.
And their corpses being made mockery of. And why those things are going on? He's riding on red carpet. So if you don't allow people to democratically remove you when you know you have failed, then what other choice are you giving them? If anything happens to ADC in 2027,
We'll get to that. Let's continue further in this line of interrogating the just carnage.
yes, massacre.
The governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang,
Yes.
after the disaster, came out to address the people in an armored personnel carrier, surrounded by a bevy of soldiers and policemen, DSS officers and the rest of that, and was trying to assure the residents that, oh, we will secure you. And I mean, the people I've spoken with, the commentary I've read from that, images, showed the governor fearful. You could see that he was really, really afraid. Now, a governor that is obviously terrorized, feeling, scared for his life, I don't know from what, how can you reassure the people?
Unfortunately.
And he's meant to be the chief security officer of that state.
Unfortunately.
How do you read this?
Incompetence and emptiness. I'm sorry to say this.
Sorry to interrupt you. I thought he joined the APC to bring these people to the party.
I'm trying to be civil.
Yes.
Otherwise, when we're growing up, when a man is that big and fat, they always, I'm sorry to say it, but he always appears as somebody that doesn't use common sense. Honestly. No, is it not sitting? You're going on armored car and you want to remain in it to address the people. So all those people that are perishing, you're not willing to go through the same process. And then, like you rightly pointed out, you belonged to another party. And then you left that party to join the party that is responsible for the carnage, for the massacre, for the death of your people. Sorry to say this, but do you have sense at all? Honestly, I say this with sorrows in my heart. Plateau. There was one movie I acted on the Plateau. During those days, in the evening, God himself, as if he descends
On the Plateau.
with the Holy Spirit, and you will see the fog white on the mountains. You will sense the peace. What happened to the Plateau? Because you have incompetent people like Governor Mutfwang. And then you're embracing the government that has so destroyed your people. America said this government is committing genocide on the Plateau. You, the governor, you're embracing them. And now with your tail in between your legs, you're inside an armored car. Yet your people are outside perishing. You can't even share the same risk that they are going through. No governor, even Wike himself, they is saying that every governor that defected should not be re-elected. So even Wike knows that the governors that defected and went into APC are senseless. Sorry to say it. Even when his own governor, Fubara, defected to APC, he said he's not worthy of second term. So also all the governors that defected into APC, by the account of even APC members. Remember that the national chairman of APC did not want this governor inside the APC. It was a long time. Now I understand. Because not only that, this governor has proved that he's incapable of doing anything good for the Plateau. They should vote him out, and they will pray that such a thing doesn't come again on Plateau for a long time to come. So all those governors that defected, of course, Senator Ali Ndume, the senator, told the whole world that the governors are defecting, but the people are not defecting. So don't be fooled. You can see what is going on. People are defecting. People are joining ADC. Governors are joining APC for money and for power. And then to cover their corruption. This is what Ali Ndume said. And APC members, that is for self-preservation. Because when you join APC, your sins are forgiven. So the governor of Plateau's own case is terrible. Plateau should just pack up anything. You don't have PDP, you don't have APC, you have PD, APC. That is what it has been completely joined. So I've always told Nigerians these are the two heads of a monster. Wow. When a human being has two heads, it becomes a monster. I said it long time ago. Nigerians thought I was joking. PD, APC. And you can see it now that they have completed the joining process. That is what that Mutfang is the signpost of PDAPC.
Unbelievable. You alluded to it earlier on. In the first 3 months, because this is 1st of April, we've lost 1,000 Nigerians to terrorist activities. If this,
And still counting.
If this continues throughout the year, extrapolating, that means we would have 4,000 deaths from terrorism, kidnappings, banditry, insurgency, and all of that. Can Nigeria? I mean, it begs the question, because we've had this going on now, this terrible cycle over and over again. Is this acceptable to the opposition that you belong to you personally?
No.
This senseless, heinous bloodshed.
I'm sorry to say it, you just annoyed me. We're talking about people's lives. Is it acceptable to APC itself? No. If you are an APC member and your mother is killed, your father is killed, your brothers and sisters, or did they write your party on your forehead? No. Is it acceptable to APC itself? Even this incompetent and malnourished and wretched National Assembly under Senator Akpabio, they still shout about insecurity. They even have the courage to say, let the security operatives do something. Let them investigate, even if it is camouflage. But then, trying to tell you that APC itself, because life does not have a duplicate, it is not acceptable to APC, and you're talking about opposition. And now, let's leave parties out of this. Because in 2027, it's not going to be political party. No, it's not going to be political parties. It's going to be Nigerian people versus the ruling people. That is always how it is worldwide. The incumbent, the election is an inquisition to his competence.
A referendum of sorts.
A referendum to his competence. So it's going to be Nigerian people versus APC. The question is the senseless killing of Nigerians acceptable to Nigerians? Not opposition. The job of the opposition is to critically analyze the policies of government and proffer credible alternative solutions. That's our job. It is the job of the people to decide who governs them, to decide the person that will lead them. So the question is it acceptable to Nigerians that they will be dying like chickens and the commander-in-chief is riding on red carpet while they are dying? Are you aware that Tinubu has not ever visited any arena of conflict while people are killed? Normally, even when Obasanjo was there, within 24 hours, 48 hours, he will visit there.
He went to Nasarawa State for the Yelwata, after the Yelwata massacre. He went to Nasarawa State.
He said after. How many months?
When school children lined up under the rain
It's not Nasarawa.
to welcome
It's
him.
Benue.
Benue, yeah, exactly.
Sorry. He went to Makode. He went to the State House. He did not go to Yelwata. And you know the excuse he gave? There was rain. There was bad road. And the children came out in the rain to wave to him. So he has never visited any. Was Makode, was the State House, the arena of conflict? He should have actually stayed in Abuja rather than mess up the feelings of the Yelwata people. It's just like something happened in Gwagwalada, and you said you visited Tinubu in the villa, and you say you have visited the people that the incident happened against. No, he has never visited any arena of conflict. In Niger State, when people are being massacred, he went to commission one airport that they named after him. You can see. So at times when the incident is over and there's a lot of clamor, he will send Shetima that doesn't die, because that is the only job now Shetima now has. When Shetima was campaigning, he said Oshibanjo is a good man. He's only good to sell ice cream. Even Puff Puff, they don't allow Shetima to sell in Tinubu's government. So why we should be careful what we talk. Even Puff Puff,
ice cream is more
valuable now. Yes, you use egg, you use egg, more dignifying than Puff Puff. Flour. You use flour now that under Tinubu's government they can't afford good oil. You use flour and they might even use hand to mold. Even Puff Puff, they don't allow Shetima to sell. So what he does is going on condolence visits and all those things. That's what he does. Shame, I've never seen.
Let's switch gears from that to something else. You argued very vociferously that the president wants to turn Nigeria into a one-party state and that he will not succeed.
Yes, no, he
But
wasn't.
but the evidence belies that confidence that you were demonstrating, because as we speak, almost 32 governors have decamped to the APC. As of the last count yesterday, another gale of defections. I doubt if opposition parties total have maybe 10 senators, at the Senate, and then I don't know. It's almost a complete sweep as we speak. And then, of course, you said it earlier on, the PDP is gone. Labour Party is gone. The only one that seems to be, to still have some sort of life, still breathing, is the ADC. Are you still sure that there is viable opposition in Nigeria, Barrister?
Good. I told you that democracy is about the people and the people in power. So, the people will always be more powerful than the people in power. It's the governors you just say that are defecting. 30 something. When they're talking about 200 and something million. You can't even, if I tell you what's the percentage.
But the governors have influence.
If the governors have influence, why have they not influenced the number of deaths in their states? They have zero influence. That's why they are running to attach themselves to the federal government. Have you ever heard about state might to be used during the election? You only hear about what? Federal might. So what influence? Why would a governor, Seriaka Dixon said, I do not see a reason why a second-term governor should be talking about defecting into APC. If not for self-preservation, why is he going into APC? Now, let me tell you, APC wants one-party state and they want it very, very fiercely because they don't want Tinubu to go in for election in 2027. And now that they have seen that Nigerians have chosen ADC as the vehicle for the campaign, you can see it. Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso, these were the people. Yes, Amechi did not contest in 2022. Good. Analyzing the 2023 election, Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso, these were the major presidential candidates with Tinubu. So these three now, being in one party, Tinubu understands, APC understands what it means, and they are becoming very frenetic. They are becoming very jittery completely. So their assignment now is to destroy ADC. I can tell you on good authority that Professor Josh Amepito is under pressure now to deregister ADC. Why do I say that? There was this chambers that wrote to INEC on the 16th of March that they should de-recognize David Mark leadership. Now, the INEC does not have the right by law to de-recognize anybody that is in their portal. It has to be the court. And when they saw that INEC treated their letter for what it is, nonsense, they now conniving with APC. They now went and wrote another letter to INEC, threatening to arrest the INEC chairman. As a lawyer, INEC is a party to the case. So you don't even need to tell INEC what to do. He went to trial court to say, no, Deregister David Mark. I am the national chairman. Who made you national chairman? Which convention? Which National Executive Committee met? Which NWC met? One Nafiu Gombe. How do you become national chairman? So if I proclaim myself president now of Nigeria, they'll start calling me factional president. Is that
factional president of Nigeria?
Of Nigeria? That's what it means.
Because that's the implication.
That's the implication.
That's the inference that can be drawn from this.
So, does it mean constitutions that parties do not have constitutions anymore? That one person, we experienced it during when we were in Labour.
Yes.
One Papa.
Absolutely.
They went to court. Good. And they said they used ex parte motion. At the end of the day, where did they end? The people disgraced them openly at the Court of Appeal. Because I'm advising that nephew, he knows he's being used. Now, he resigned in his own handwriting. The resignation letter is there. Raf Nwosu is the former chairman of ADC. He resigned and gave Ralph Moses his resignation letter. And he said the reason is to make way for a smooth and very clean coalition. Smooth and effective coalition and restructuring. So he knew what he was doing. They wanted to restructure ADC to make it very pleasing to Nigerians to choose. This is a Nafiu Gombe. He's not the national chairman, he has never been. He's the national deputy chairman and national deputy chairman for inter-party affairs in the ADC constitution. The national deputy chairman, there are 6. So it's function-based, not section-based. So you don't have...
have another political party.
Yes, it's function-based. Now, you have the national deputy chairman politics. That's the one that succeeds the chairman and presides. The chairman is not there. So ADC as a body, the NWC, agreed and dissolved itself by a resolution for which the nephew signed his resignation letter. His resignation letter was dated 17th May 2025. He signed in his own handwriting 18th May 2025. And the resignation letter took effect on 26th May 2025. Now, after resigning, check the time he filed the first case. After the unveiling, after everything, we were unveiled July 2nd. We didn't do anything. Because when INEC now wanted to recognize the party, then that's when he remembered. Under which government? So, APC now wants to use him. The trial court has not even deliberated on the matter. The Court of Appeal, David Mark went to the Court of Appeal to let the Court of Appeal know that they don't even need to deliberate on the matter. The Court of Appeal said no. There is a procedural error. What you want to appeal against is an interlocutory order, which has not even been given. So 1, you need leave of the Court of Appeal for you to bring an appeal against an interlocutory order. And 2, the interlocutory order has not even been given.
So why are you jumping the gun?
So go back to the trial court. Let the trial court decide on the case so that you will have even something to appeal on. And then these people, I don't want to use cussing words, are going about saying, because the Court of Appeal say, go back to status quo. That the status quo means that national chairman is no longer national chairman. Meanwhile, nobody ever made you national chairman. So you see how APC wants to use the judiciary and wants to use these charlatans, meddlesome interlopers. He has been expelled from the party, like they used in PDP. We were all here when people openly declared that they have left PDP in Rivers State. And Judiciary, by any kind of abracadabra, said they have not resigned. When they read their own resignation on the floor of the House of Assembly. So the threat is real that APC wants to use the lawyers, use the judiciary. Why am I saying they want to use the judiciary? I gave you the example of what happened in El-Rufai's case. Because as far as I'm concerned, it is the incarceration of El-Rufai that killed his mother. When mothers get to that age, they are so sentimental. They become so emotional. Let me tell you, somebody told my mother that thieves stole from some of his children's houses. My mother felt so bad that they had to call preachers to come and start preaching to her that nothing is wrong. I want you to understand. Then you can imagine an aged woman of 90-something years that you are telling that they are arresting the son. Some people might even go and tell her his son has died in prison. It happens.
She might actually even think
on her own.
Yeah,
because at that age, they say, they don't want to tell me they have killed my son. That is what killed her. In my own opinion. And now, when the woman died, crying over spilled milk, that's when they remember they will, without court order, release El-Rufai. Meaning they are the ones using the judiciary and the purported order. Because you cannot disobey the order of the court. If you have respect for the court, it is only the court that can amend, vary its order. But this government went and released El-Rufai, exposing to the whole world that they are using the judiciary. So that is why democracy is in peril, because they want to use the judiciary, use people like Nafiu Bala, when I was in one media house, they said that Nafiu Bala claimed that he was forced to resign. Now, one of his aides came and claimed that it was fake. So which one are we going to agree on? If you want to challenge such a thing in court, you don't use originating summons. You use writ of summons, where the issues are debatable. So APC now, knowing that ADC has come to stay, they want to use every means, including intimidating INEC. I can tell you that Joyce Omipota has been threatened that if he doesn't deregister ADC, he should resign.
Is this rumor or you have evidence to this?
They wrote the first letter, 16th March. He ignored it as he should be. No, the lawyers.
Okay, the lawyers for
Potting, yes.
For Nafi Gombe.
Telling INEC chairman that he should deregister David Mark and register them as who? By which convention?
Exactly.
Which NWC of ADC sat or NEC to make you chairman? Isn't it ridiculous? And they wrote that to INEC chairman and he ignored it for what it's supposed to be. And after that, they wrote another one saying they will arrest him. Is it not the government that arrests?
Lawyers.
Yes. That they will arrest him.
Like they have their own private police or something?
Like they have their own private police. But it is the government that arrests, saying that they will bring contempt of court. What are you waiting for? They should go to the court and not threaten him by section 158 and section 160 of the Constitution. INEC is independent in everything it's doing.
Let me ask you directly and give me a straightforward answer. Nigerians are interested. Who is behind all of this coordinated,
Yes.
orchestrated,
Yes.
some would even allege?
Yes.
Don't forget, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said there's a coordinated, concerted effort
Yes.
to destabilize the ADC.
Yes.
So who is behind all of this?
In my own opinion, APC. And my reason is clear. They did it in PDP. They appointed Wike as minister. And Wike started working for them. Wike doesn't hide it.
Confirmed by Seyi Makinde, no less a person as a governor of the
Seyi
state.
Makinde said Wike said they are not going to produce presidential candidate. They are going to adopt President Tinubu. What other example do you want? In Labour Party, I told you how they used good and all those words simply to destabilize. So PDP is now in their pocket. ADC is the only opposition. What interest does any other person have to destabilize ADC? It is only APC that has interest to destabilize it because there is no internal crisis.
Yeah, I was going to come. That's the next question. Some are alleging that it is internal crisis. Sorry, Barrister. In Edo State, when there was this attack at the home of former Governor John Odige Oyego, Peter Obi was there. Some other bigwigs, ADC bigwigs were there, and there were gunshots at the gate. You know, the governor, Monday Okpebholo, came out to say, "Oh, it is this gruntled elements of the ADC within the ADC that it is infighting." So that's what I'm asking. Who is behind this coordinated?
Now, recall that when that assassination attempt took place, I came on television to say these assassination attempts.
I saw it.
Why have they not proved me wrong by arresting the people that are involved? 10 unmarked vehicles.
And paraded.
Good. Went to the secretariat of ADC. After shooting there, they chased them down to Oyegu's house. Oyegu's house is near the state house. Until today, you've not made any arrest. You know what the president of El Salvador said? If the state does not deal with insecurity, the state is complicit. It is the duty of the state that has the monopoly of force to secure lives and property. So if a thing happens like this and nobody is arrested, it is the state. I have the right to say it by own opinion. Especially when it was in the day, complete in the daylight, where everybody sees everybody. And then 10 unmarked vehicles going through the street of Beni, close to the state house, and after operating, nobody till today has arrested anybody. I met the elderly senator, Senator Roland Owe. I met him in the NEC meeting, and I jokingly asked him, "Aga, why do you want to kill us now?" He laughed. A very religious man. He said something that made me to start crying. He said, young man, Kenneth, thank you for what you're doing in Nigeria. He said, because of you, I named one of my children Kenneth, because I want to see in him the things I'm seeing in you. Do you think such a man would have any need to go and do anything against his own party? Any man that wants to conspire against his party will not come out openly and tell you, I disagree with this. If he disagrees with anything. They were all together when they were taken away from the secretariat because of people coming to attack them. And they went to the residence of John Odigioyego. Pleasant religious man. He was one who led us in prayer. There is nothing like internal crisis in Edo. That governor, I've always said that even his party APC regards him as insignificant. Was it not in the convention of APC that the chairman of APC was saying that we are being treated as insignificant people, that they were left in overflow? The delegation, this is a governor that wears cap, Tinubu's cap, and has ordered everybody to be wearing Tinubu's cap. Overflow governor. Overflow APC. That's where they put them. And you know what? It's because they know that's where their capacity is. So the APC is not even recognizing them as important. This is the chairman of APC saying, no, not me. That why would they treat them as they are unimportant? You know what he said? He said they have promised 3.5 million votes from Edo. The population of Edo as a whole is about 2.something million. The last election, all the total people that voted were not up to 1 million. But they are promising Tinubu 3.5 million. Do such people appear to you as people that have sense? No, by this arithmetic, I'm not talking. Absolutely. Look, I am not talking legalistically. I'm not talking grammatically. I'm talking arithmetically. Say 3.5 million to Tinubu. Is there no end to psychophancy? Must you expose that you are empty in the head in order to be a sycophant? 3.5 million. They are promising Tinubu. Abracadabra.
Maybe new people have come into Edo and new people have entered the register. But let's make progress on this.
Even if they see new people, they will say it's Fulani husband.
So this Nephew Ali Gombe saga, what's the state of play now? What's the state of play?
The state of play is that they want to do everything possible to use extrajudicial means to see whether they can remove the executives of ADC.
NWC, you mean?
NWC, yes. The national executive of ADC, yes. To plant the nephew
and his crew.
And his crew that were not voted in any convention or NEC or any NWC missing. That is what they are planning. And they are planning to see whether you heard about one association of retired House of Representatives members or something that say they went to court to deregister ADC. Just look at such charlatanic cases.
This brings
so
us
they want to destabilize the ADC.
Now, this brings us to this point.
Yes.
Nigerians would
so Nigerians should know that if anything happens to ADC, then there is no election in 2027.
Brilliant. So Nigerians would like to know, and they will not forgive me if I don't ask you this pointedly. Why is the APC afraid of competition in 2027?
Because democracy is not the government of the judiciary. It's not the government of the governors. Yes. It's not the government of ICPC or EFCC.
Or the police.
It's the government of the people. And they don't have the people. And they have this inkling that the people are willing to defend their mandate from what they have experienced. They know that no citizen in the whole world will agree to pay 1,400 naira per liter of fuel when this government met it at about 195 naira per liter. They know that no citizen will pay such huge transportation costs to go to the cubicle to vote for Tinubu. They know that, like I gave you the statistics, 34 states has witnessed 137 terrorist attacks within 4 weeks, 1 month. They know that nobody in his right senses will go to vote for Tinubu and the APC, having these statistics. So they know that people who were paying 500 naira, dollar to a naira, they are now paying 1,400. They know that a government that is offering them no security, no power. As you can see, there is no power here. You can see my neighbors now, they are going on Solar. Everybody is building solar. And yet, you have borrowed more than any other governor, any other president. No security, no power. And Nigeria is now the most indebted country under your regime. All other governments put together from 1960 has not borrowed what Tinubu has borrowed in 2 years plus.
And counting anyway.
And just yesterday, $6 billion.
billion.
Within 3.5 hours.
6 billion, not
dollars.
Billion.
Dollars. That's about 9 trillion naira,
yeah,
or 10 trillion naira. So you know what? What is he doing with the money? He said if he removes subsidy, he will use the money he saved to repair Nigeria. He removed subsidy. All the things he's saving, what is he using it for? 15 trillion naira Lagos Calabar express road for his family business. What is he using it for? Nothing except ostentatious living. More than 40 billion naira to travel abroad and back. So what is he using it for? So our debt now has reached 195 trillion and counting. Within 3 years, he met 77 trillion debt. Look at the difference. So Nigerians know they cannot survive another term of Tinubu. That's why they are scared. By giving a chance, Nigerians will not only vote them out, but protect their votes. Tinubu is gone. I said it the other time that even if he comes unopposed, he will lose. Because nobody will go to that polling unit to vote yes, to be killed by terrorists. Nobody will go to vote yes, to pay a liter of fuel 1,400 official. Nobody will do that.
You mentioned some while ago that in the 2026 Electoral Act amended, that was just hurriedly signed by the president.
For the first time, they passed it on the 17th of February. The president signed it on the 18th.
Meanwhile, it was meant to be studied and advised by the Attorney General of the President of the Federation.
Yes.
Who is the Chief Law Officer?
Yes.
INEC is meant to study it.
Yes.
And make contribution also. Different stakeholders are meant to do all of that, but none of that was done. And this is a 100-page document thereabouts, Yes. Anyway, so they passed it. But you said there were some clauses that were inserted, allegedly, I must add, by the APC to make sure political parties do not have proper leg to stand on. All right. In like 1 or 2 minutes, because we're running out of time, and they are still. What are some of these clauses?
Good. I don't want to use the word inserted.
Okay.
Because till now, I don't know whether anybody has seen the gazetted copy.
Exactly.
So we are operating under unknown law, which is against rule of law, because laws must be publicly published. Absolutely. I don't know what they are keeping, because once a law is passed by National Assembly, it's gazetted. So I cannot say inserted. No, that's not my word.
Okay.
I said APC muzzled itself through by making provisions and amendment that is injurious to the democratic space of Nigeria. The democratic evolution. Democracy is about choices. So any government or law that is limiting choices rather than widening choices is anti-democratic. Why remove indirect primary from parties? Because the old law did not say they should not do direct primaries. They say you have the option. Now, are you calling what happened in the PDP convention, APC convention? It is only the opposition party that you can say that they can do consensus, because they know that they are period. They know that they are not as many. They don't have resources to even do. But a ruling party, can you imagine if I telling you everybody was returned unopposed? Is that democratic? Single nomination form for every post. Is that democratic? So I want you to understand what I am saying. That the Electoral Act, the reason Mike Igini says the worst, is that it is rather anti-democratic rather than deepening democracy. What is the proviso in the electronic transmission of results? They say with the proviso that if there is a communication failure, you resort to the manual. Yes. What is the electronic we're talking about? The electronic is simply the manual preserved so that integrity will not be hampered. So what are you saying you're resorting back to the manual? Did we ever say you should resort back to the electronic? What we said is use the electronic to upload the scanned copy of that manual on IREF portal, which you don't need communication to do. You have your phone. If you snap me now, my picture drops into your gallery. That's how beavers work. Whether it is online or offline, It has no business with that. And you can upload my picture on anybody that is on your WhatsApp, even when there is no network. Then when network comes in, the picture downloads. This is what Professor Yakubu explained. So how on earth will somebody put that proviso, if not with an intention to manipulate election? Because it's useless. Because there's no way network will affect your uploading, because Beavers is used offline. The same Beavers that is used for accreditation, offline, and there is no problem. That's an electronic process. The same Beavers, you need network to snap. The camera there is inbuilt. So that proviso is useless. The only value for it is to allow APC to rig election, so that when they go to court, they will tell courts that the law gave them chance to use the manual. That's all. So any presiding officer that is telling you he cannot upload, then the process is rig and die.
Okay, so
he is trying to conduct a civilian coup against the will of the people. And the people there in the station have the right to use reasonable force to compel him to upload it, because he doesn't need network. So any presiding officer that tells you he can't upload it, he wants to rig your election. According to Professor Mahmood, with all his technical glitch.
Even backed up by the NCC.
NCC said it, Nigeria Society of Engineers said it. So what authority is the presiding officer giving you that there is network failure that will make him not upload? Upload a picture. So nobody should give us that excuse. That provision is worthless and useless in law. And any court of law that knows what they're doing will say that this provision is worthless and useless.
Now, with all of this.
So what we have now is that the main clause of 60, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 20, he said you must compulsorily transmit electronically. That is the law we have. The proviso, there's nothing like proviso.
But there's a proviso.
That's what I said.
Yes.
I've analyzed it to you. That if the proviso is worthless and inapplicable, is worthless in law.
But the president has signed it into law.
No, that's what I said, that it is there only to give APC the opportunity to rig. That's what I said. So anybody that mentions the proviso, whether in court or anywhere, the intention is to rig. I analyze it to you. And you even helped me by citing NCC.
Of course.
Oh,
with all of this,
thank you for that.
Kenneth, with all of this,
yes,
you said we shouldn't use inserted because nobody has seen the gazetted copy.
Sure.
Okay, so
and then it is provided for in the National Assembly, so you can't use the word inserted. So I use my words measuredly.
Exactly. Now, so
there was an insertion in the tax law.
Yes.
They forged that one,
yes,
so they ran away. But this one, I can't use the same language because nobody has seen it.
The gazetted copy.
It's a gazetted copy. No. And that reminds me, what are they waiting for? To bring out the gazetted copy?
Absolutely. German question.
That means it's possible they may want to insert. I'm not saying they've inserted.
Yes. Now, more questions. Just to round up on this. Yes. With these attacks on the party, this, shenanigans going on on the law and all of that, can the ADC, in all honesty, can the ADC, withstand, with what they are doing with the so-called Nafiu Aligombe so-called faction, because there's no faction, to the best of my knowledge, in the ADC hierarchy, there's no faction. But with all of this, can the ADC, honestly, in your opinion, Barrister Kenneth, can the ADC survive this onslaught?
Capital yes.
What gives you that confidence?
Because ADC is the only opposition party, and we have done everything that we need to do in accordance with the law. Do you know what it means that to the extent that even Professor Yakubu Mahmood could not see anything that he will use to glitch our process of emerging? Do you think that if Mahmood has seen anything that we've not done in accordance with the law, that time we were trying to register with INEC, when we do this, they would tell us, no, go back and redo it. We will go back and redo it. That was why we were unveiled in July 2nd. But it was in September 10th they recognized us as members in NWC. Put the name, but good.
On their website.
INEC will tell you, no, this is yet to be completed. We will go back and complete it and invite them. And we are monitoring all the process. So if Professor Yakubu, that is the glitcher, could not glitch the process of our being recognized by INEC, then you can imagine we went extra mile. Is it Josh and Mupita that we're thinking will be better?
Crossed all the I's.
All the I's, yes.
Dotted all the T's.
So if you see that anything happened to ADC, it's APC that doesn't want contest, and Nigerians will just know that they should do something to it.
The worry for me and for most Nigerians is that you spoke so passionately, like this, if not even more.
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
about Labour Party.
Yes.
In 2022, 2023, you know, so passionately
Yes.
that nothing anybody will do it. The Labour Party will stand. It will be this, it will be that.
Sure.
But Labour Party has become, you know, history.
Good.
So what's different with the ADC?
Very good. What you said now is different. I was talking about winning election.
Okay.
I was not telling you Labour Party will stand forever. As a matter of fact, I want Labour Party. They don't get their ass together, they'll become irrelevant. If you recall. Everything I said about Labour Party happened in 2023. I told Nigerians it's going to be Nigerian people versus APC. And it happened. Nobody won more states than us in Labour Party. We won 12 states, including the FCT. We won Lagos, Tinubu's home state. We won Nasarawa, the national chairman of APC state. We won Plateau, the DG of Tinubu's campaign state. They could not make 25% in FCT. We won that election, I still maintain, in my own opinion. And you saw what happened. What was their technical glitch if we didn't win? If we won all these key places. So everything I said, I stand by it, and it happened. For the first time, a party that didn't have governor, that didn't have members in National Assembly, performed that great, because the Nigerian people are the ones to decide who will govern them. So in 2027, I'm telling Nigerians again, ADC will win, but we only need free and fair election without technical glitch. And then they will just announce it before darkness that day. Everybody would have had the result, and Tinubu will be gone. So
you are quite confident?
Yes, I cannot tell you about. I think I always tell you. I don't use the word never. I don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Yes.
But today, I can tell you that APC is gone. That's why they're jittery, trying to use extrajudicial method to wipe ADC out.
You said Nigeria cannot survive another 4 years
of Tinubu. That I can assure you, because if we have like 13 trillion naira as revenue, we use almost 9 trillion to service debt.
Last year,
yes,
Barrister Kenneth.
Yes.
Last year we spent $5.2 billion.
Yes.
On debt, $1 billion on debt
servicing. Very correct. And we're borrowing more. So how can we survive?
Okay, but here's the question.
Yes.
With these heavyweights joining, as I use the word, advisedly, heavyweights, because the three leading contenders in 2023, they're all in one place now, apart from Tinubu.
Yes.
So, are you sure the ADC can actually win? They can unseat, be honest with Nigerians.
Yes.
Can the ADC, this coming together of this, heavyweights?
Yes.
Because the fear is that once the tussle for the candidacy goes one way or the other, which is true, which is going to be that there'll be fragmentation again. What do you think?
There will be no fragmentation. ADC, when we were forming the coalition and we're negotiating, they say it's dead on arrival. I told them, somebody that has not arrived cannot die. We arrived. And today, all the three opposing forces in 2022 are now together as one. If they are sure they will not lose, they should leave ADC alone and go and compete in the field. ADC will win. And we will win outlandishly. I can tell you one thing. Most of the governors of APC, they are working for ADC. They are there for self-preservation, and they are there for the money. Some of them will tell you that if you go become APC member, they will give you billions. If you've not heard it, I've heard it. I let them go and collect their own billions. Some of them will say, if I don't declare now, they will use the state against me. Did you not hear from Bala Mohammed that is saying that he's going to declare war? That is he by force? That why they are arresting his commissioners and other things because he refused to join APC. He said it clearly. So I'm quoting people. So please, all these things, they are the result of intimidation and manipulation. And the people are not defecting. So during the time of the election, you hear it. By the grace of God. And I'm saying this on the authority of heavens. By the grace of God.
But God does not vote. It's people that vote.
God created the people that vote. And they say the thought of the man is in the hand of God.
Now, what are your feelers from across Nigeria, the 6 geopolitical zones? Does the president really stand a chance in the 6? Give us brief analysis from the 6.
The 6 geopolitical zones.
Yes.
1, he has lost the north, 100%.
You think so? You said the north.
Yes. Northeast, northwest, north central. Are you from Benue? Are you eating through the nose that your people are dying every day? That even America is coming to fight for you? Benue, Plateau. Because these are the epicenters. And you want to vote for the same government that cannot protect your security? Are you from Niger? Terrorists are blowing bridges in Niger. Are you going to vote for the same government? Kwara State that used to be peaceful. Insurgents now are collecting taxes from people in Kwara State. Same thing with Kogi. Which other state is remaining? Nasarawa? Under attack. So, FCT here, under attack. Haven't you heard about one chance killing people? Now, which other state is remaining in North Central?
Kogi,
Made up of Christians.
Niger.
Christians. That's what I'm saying.
Nasarawa.
I just told you what is happening in Niger, in Kwara, in every of the state. Who will vote for him? Then that means North Central is gone. Then Northeast. Is it where they are massacring our men, Boko Haram resurgent?
The of the vice president.
You say what?
The vice president.
The vice president that is selling puff, they've not even allowed him to sell puff puff. Now, the Muslim ticket, the ulamas have said that it is a haram to vote for Muslim ticket. So Northwest is gone. The Lakarawa is now in charge of Northwest. So is it Lakarawa you're going to vote for? Because a vote for Tinubu is a vote for Lakarawa.
Down south now. South,
Now,
southwest, south.
good. Now, Southeast. Till today, we have only 2 substantive ministers. The Constitution said we should produce 5 at least.
1 per state.
Good. We have only 2. Minister of Works. And the other minister. Because even the science and technology, that is the only 2. Ogun State has 3. The whole South has only 3 substantive ministers. Ogun State alone has 3. So are you saying that anybody with his right senses from Southeast or South will go and vote for Tinubu? Some of the leaders in Southeast, they say that they are doing Izumunne and that they have endorsed Tinubu. If you heard it, when they said Izumunne, that's when I know that God even has a way of bringing out the truth from people when they don't know. In Igbo land, what we have is Izumunna or Izumuada, Izumuopo. Izumunne is for children drinking milk from their mother's breast. So these people, without knowing it, has admitted that all of them are forming this thing, endorsing Tinubu because they are drinking from the feeding bottle of Tinubu.
So it's for personal benefit.
And
now.
they are scavenging on the rotten crumbs that falls from Tinubu's table. Can't you see how when people would say city boys, can't you see how the Igbos reject them? You know why? It's an insult to Ndi Igbo. Do you know why we wear our isiago? We wear our isiago because we go to hunt our food in dignity like the lions and we eat fresh meat. We don't scavenge like vultures. Those Izumunne politicians that purportedly endorse Tinubu, they are political scavengers that are scavenging from the rotten crumb that falls from Tinubu's table. They are political children drinking from the feeding bottle of Tinubu. We are Igbo. I would rather starve and die in dignity than to scavenge from the rotten crumb that fall from Tinubu's table. We are Igbo. We hunt for our food and we eat it fresh. We go to the streets and we hunt our food, even if it's selling pure water. We do it in dignity and we eat our food fresh as lions. We are not vultures. We are men and we discharge ourselves as men. Both women in Igbo land, they discharge themselves as men. That's why when you are a woman and you get to a certain level culturally, they will ordain you to become a man. We wear our isiago. We eat our food that we hunt for ourselves. Throughout my life, it has been with my talent and skill that I hunt for my food and eat it fresh. I shall never, ever scavenge for rotten crumbs. I am Igbo and I'm blessed. Those people that say they have endorsed Tinubu, sorry, they are Tinubu slaves, not genuine Igbo people.
I don't want to respond to this, but the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps,
Yes.
Benjamin Kalu,
Yes.
says nobody has supported the East Southeast, like Tinubu, that he has funded Southeast Development Commission and all of that, so that's a counter narrative. But let's leave that. Two more.
Well, thank you for telling me to leave that.
Two more
because you have said he has funded. Let me see their projects.
Two more questions.
Yes. Scavengers, political scavengers.
You have defended the opposition so strongly. You've spoken so passionately about opposition, the chances and all of that. In your heart of hearts, Kenneth Okonkwo, in your very heart of hearts, do you think ADC have what it takes? It has what it takes to unseat Tinubu 2027.
You have asked this question like 3 times.
I'm asking it again. Good. For the umpteenth time.
And I'm answering you for the umpteenth time, yes.
Okay.
And that is why they are jittery.
Okay.
What they want to do is to abort ADC, not to contest. Okay. As long as there is a contest, Tinubu is gone.
Brilliant. Now, this is on a lighter note as we tidy up. I saw you yesterday at the premises of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Oh, okay.
Dancing at Tilogu so seriously, so nicely. I was like, wow, I didn't know my friend can dance like this. What's going on? Because, mind you, this Atiku Abubakar, you attacked, not I take that, but not attack. You criticized him harshly in the run-up to 2023 elections and all of that. What's going on?
Good. Atiku Abubakar was in PDP.
Yes.
I was in Labour Party. Were you expecting me to buy him a thank you card?
That's why I said criticized. I took back the word.
Thank you very much.
I took that back.
Which party is Atiku Abubakar this
ADC.
time? Which party I am?
ADC.
Good. Whoever comes out as the presidential candidate of ADC, I shall support. I told you that.
Are you from Enugu? Because
yes,
it was a delegation of Enugu people.
Yes, that's why they invited me, just as an observer, because I'm a member of the National Working Committee. And because they say their intent is to police the polling booths to ensure that votes are not manipulated, I got very interested because we must defend our votes. And I really appreciate the young men that are organizing themselves to defend their votes. And I'm happy that it's starting from Enugu State. So as a member of NWC, many of our leaders that is having something like that, and I'm invited, I will attend and give my own moral support.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Barrister Kenneth. It's been a wonderful time, having this conversation. And I'm sure we'll do this, again.
God willing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.